Hi everybody, welcome for a new battle report against the Warrior of the Dark God player from ETC Switzerland. Aurélien was really happy to play against him because we never played before and he was playing the Helmo, and I was really interested to face this army because I never played live against the Mo, and I was curious to see the mechanic of the Helmo. So my list is the same as the game before, and the list of my opponent is a Lord with Entropic Aura, so it makes it denies me the advantage of a special weapon and the armor enchantment, a Talisman of Shielding, a great weapon with the Gauntlet, who can make a flaming attack or either divine attack, a Trophy Rack, Magical Resistance 1, a Doomlord with a 1-up rerollable Halberd, Parry, Magical Resistance 3, Master of Alchemy with Whale Walker, Binding Scroll, 23 Warriors, a block of Barbarians, 2x5 Chosen, 1x Spell Weapon, 1x Halberd, 8 ounce, 7 Force 1 actually with Spike Shield, I guess only with Musician and Champion, 1 Elmo with 1 additional Gateway, and 1 Battle Shrine to finish the list. We played Frontline Clash and All the Ground. I chose a spell, 2 Blast. I thought he has some good armor, so why not take Quicksilver Lash and Molten Copper to annoy him a little bit. I can target Force 1 and kill some models before combat maybe. +2 or +1 armor save and the -1 permanent armor save. And regarding Occultism, I went with Rot Within and the boost of Aegis. And for my Overlord, I chose Infernal Weapon and Onyx Core again for my opponent. Yeah, my idea with Onyx Core was to target the Chosen, Force 1. I thought he has multiple model with multiple wound, and therefore I could profit from that. That was a little bit the idea, but I have as well a bit lack of AP with this weapon, so we'll see if it was a problem or not during this battle. My opponent chose Word of Iron, Silver Spike, Hereditary Spell, Quicksilver Lash. Quicksilver Lash, very good to target my Overlord and the tank. And with the Battle Shrine, he took the number 2 of Evocation. Regarding the matchup, of course, he should be quite happy, I guess, to get All the Ground, because with 2 very solid combat block, he should be able to be strong in the scenario. But both my blocks have some arguments too. Immortal and the block of Spears can do some damage as well. I need to prepare well and to get some counter charge and to profit as well from my higher amount of chaff in this game. I have a higher amount of unit of threats, high mobility, so I should be able to profit from this in the flank with Kalim Titan and the Overlord foremost. And last but not least, Rocket Battery, of course. Infernal Engine has plenty of juicy targets. He has a lot of model with multiple wounds. So Chosen, the Helmo is as well a very good target because gigantic. He has lots of good target for me in this game. Of course, the Doomstar as well is a good target for the tank. Deployment. So my opponent decided to drop everything. Good for him. It has a ruin in the middle of the board, so we play All the Ground, so not bad for him because he can profit from this and gain some cover against my shooting. On the left he put Battle Shrine, then 5 Chosen with Halberd, 8 Dogs, the unit with the Lord on War Dice, Entropic Aura in the Warriors, the unit of Barbarian with the Mage, the Doomstar, and the second unit of Chosen with Spelled Weapon and the Elmo. On my side, you have from left to right the Kalim Titan, unit of Toruk, the Bull behind the hill. The idea of the Bull and the Overlord were to deny him any blast against these 2 characters. The block of Citadel Guard with Spear, 2 units of Slaves, the unit of Immortal with the BSB, behind the Mage in his unit. And then on the right you have the tank outside of 30 from the Mage, basically to force him to move, use 1 token to have a longer range, and then he cannot use the Veil token to reroll 2 wound. That was a little bit the idea, to deny him some range damage on turn 1. That was the idea. Let's move on to his turn 1. He moves forward, of course. he decided to take the Rin to give me a hard cover on the flank and on the front with the tank. But in the process, he had to march and took 2 wounds on the Doomlord, which was bad for him because he did double 1 and then no ward save, no Aegis, no regeneration. So took 2 wounds from that. Was quite happy about that. Bad luck for him. And move forward with everybody. Open 1 and 2 gate, second gate after the movement stage to be able to gain some mobility on the flank if needed. And move forward with the Chosen as well. In Magic, he tried to put a Silver Spike but failed, and then he tried the Quicksilver Dash on my tank, but I was able to dispel it, so was quite happy that he did no damage with this Magic phase. My plan to be outside of some range worked pretty well. My turn 1. I moved to the flank out of arc of all unit with the Overlord, and I moved forward with the tank to shoot at the Chosen at short range. I moved forward with the Orc. Basically, I saw the scenario, with both units on the target, it will be very hard for me to come forward, so I need to open the game a little bit. Therefore, I thought, let's throw the Orcs forward to open the game. He has to take some charge, if not, I will come forward and chaff him, and then I can profit from that to move forward. So that was a bit my idea. I'm giving a front to all these 3 units who can charge me. And then on the left, I cannot move very much to the flank because of the impassable terrain. It's a bit sad, but I'm still threatening with my high range of charge, still threatening this unit. I can do some damage to the Lord. Of course, he can have divine attack, but I have 7 wounds. And with my high strength attack, with some combat boost, I could do some damage to the Lord. So you never know. I moved slightly back and moved around a little bit my different unit, and moved the Bull and the Overlord out of their hidden spot. Magic, I tried to cast -1 armor save, but this was dispelled by my opponent. Then I was able to cast -1 weapon skill on this unit, so that was something good. And then with the shots short range, I was able to do 3 wounds to the Chosen, which was good news for me. His turn 2, he charges with the Chosen in my Orc Slave and loses 1 wound in the process. So only 3 Chosen in combat. This is not bad for me. And move a bit to the side with the Doomstar to face both my tank and the Overlord. And yeah, he moved a bit back with the chaff. At the moment, he don't need really his chaff, and move a bit sideways with his big unit. Magic, I tried to put Quicksilver Lash with reroll to wound on my tank. I was able to dispel it and did a Silver Spike and was able to cause 1 wound to my Overlord. So I wasn't able to dispel it because I decided to dispel Quicksilver Lash. And basically, I thought I have toughness 5 and then I have regen 4 up, and I have 4 heals points, so I should be able to survive. And I took 1 wound from that, and then I was able to cast +1 armor save on the Warrior, or the Chosen maybe, I don't remember exactly. I guess the Chosen in combat. In combat we dealt some casualties, he killed I guess 5 from me, and I did 1 wound. I'm not bad in combat because I'm within 6 inch from my unit, so I have battle focus and I have paired weapon, so that's 15 attacks with battle focus strength 3, it's not bad at all for the Orcs. He had +1 armor save in the combat. So my turn 2. Basically, I took a charge, 9 Swift Strides for the Overlord, and I was able to connect, which is very good news because then I was able to push forward with everybody because I can clip the Doomstar in place, and then I decided to move forward with everybody. So I used the Toruk unit to chaff his Death Star on the left and move forward as aggressively as possible with the Kalim Titan on the flank. Then I decided to move as forward as possible with the Immortal. My idea will be to reform to the right with the Overlord and then be able to countercharge with the Immortal in the Doomstar, and I'm quite optimistic about this combat. Move the tank forward as well to shoot into the Elmo, that could be good for me. And then I went forward to chaff, I already said that, and then to the back, move the Bull in a better position to have some countercharges in case he decided to charge with the Chosen. I could still countercharge with the Bull, so I have some good possibilities to charge as well in the Doomstar if needed in the front. I have good line of sight with the Bull in this position. In Magic, He decided to binding scroll my my attribute of alchemy, which was really smart from him, because I'm not able to get any multi-wound in this turn of combat. Then I tried to cast -1 armor save, but he was able to dispel it. And I tried to... I guess that's it in Magic. I wasn't able to cast anything, I guess. Or maybe +1 armor save to somebody, but I'm not sure. With shooting, I was able to shoot at the Elmo, wound him 1 time, but he was able to ward save hit, so nothing special. Or I guess I was able to cast a second time -1 weapon skill on this unit. Basically, my thought process was, okay, with the first one, he's only able to hit me on 4+ against the Citadel unit. Now he has only weapon skill 3. If I do it another time, he cannot face anymore the Immortal with defensive 6. So that would be something positive for me regarding the future of the battle and his possibility to teleport from one part of the board to the other. In combat, I'm able to do another wound, I guess. He did a couple of wounds, but I'm still steadfast. My plan basically is to lose a few casualties, and then one time on his turn, not take the leadership of the general and the BSB, and therefore flee, and then countercharge with my unit of spear. That's a bit the idea, to do that on the next turn. His turn 3, so here we reformed. Basically, I made sure with the reform of the Overlord that he wasn't able then to switch to the side if he want to bring his unit on this side. So I had to look a bit what were the possibilities, and therefore I switched the Overlord to the right to make sure I can countercharge with the Immortals, and that they cannot switch from combat and deny me a lot of attack from the Immortal. I decided to charge with the Chosen with Halberd against the 5 Torok. And he decided to teleport his unit from this part to this part of the board, and before that he moved out with the Battle Shrine to chaff my Kalim Titan. He didn't want to take the risk to chaff me with the dogs and then to flee because he has only leadership 5. So I put the Battle Shrine to chaff me, and the Elmo moved a bit to the sides, the Barbarian moved a bit forward, and that's it. In Magic, I used my Binding Scroll to deny him to cast -1... on the last turn, sorry, I forget to tell you about that. On the last turn in combat, I was able to do 1 wound to him with the Toxic Breast weapon that I have on this model, but I wasn't able to do anything with my attack. Of course, he has 3 up rerollable against me, and in return, he wasn't able to do anything. He has 5 attacks on 4+, 3+ then, and then I save on 4+, 4+, so I'm quite resilient. He wasn't able to do anything, so it was a draw on the charge. He had 1 rank... and maybe a standard, not so sure about that. And I have a charge and a life. Or maybe I guess he has no standard, so I had only 1 rank, but he was steadfast, stubborn on a 9. Okay, let's move on to Magic. He tried to cast +2 armor save but failed. He tried Quicksilver Lash on my tank, but I dispelled it. And with Silver Spike against my bull who had +1 ward save, I was able to save it. In combat, he did nothing to me, I did nothing to him, so he still has 1 wound remaining, and he was able to kill 3 of me. I did like 1 wound in return, and then I had to flee. He decided to restrain and just reform. I guess that's it for this turn, and here I was able to stick on I guess 9 rerollable if I remember correctly, so I will be able to countercharge, which is good news for me. But the bad news is he scored last turn the first center point, and here I will not be able to score, probably because I have only 1 scoring unit in the area, and he still has a couple of scoring in the unit, so he'll probably be with 2-0 after the end of turn 3, which is bad news for me. And last but not least, very bad news in this combat, he wasn't able to do, he did like 1 wound to me, and I did 1 in return, so I didn't lose the combat, so I was not able to flee, which is very bad news. With his 8 attacks on 3+, 4+, he wasn't able to do more than 1 wound. That was unfortunate for me, because I really wanted to flee, to countercharge with Citadel block, and then have another possible overrun into the flank. That would have been really awesome, but unfortunately for me, I'm still stuck in combat here. On my turn 3, I took several charges. First of all, the Immortal went into the combat against the Doomstar. Then my Bull charged the Chosen. here we're still in combat with 1 chosen remaining. Actually, he lost combat. I did 2 wounds, and he did only 1 to me, so he lost combat, but was able to stick. And here on the left, of course, I charged the battle shrine. And here on the right, I completely forgot that he can reroll to wound with his lord, and decided to put the tank in front, thinking I might be able to stick a bit longer, but that was really bad idea for me. I should have just moved out of arc, I guess that was easy to move out of arc with movement 6 and shoot, and put the orc with a conga line, or just march forward and chaff him. Completely forgot that he could reroll to wound against me. With strength 7, he should be able to do a couple of wounds to me, and I might not survive long enough. And if you see the basic position of the orcs, it was easy with the conga line, or either move forward to chaff him. So bad idea, very bad idea from my part to put the tank in front. But we will see, maybe I managed to survive. In Magic, I try to cast +1 ward save on the bull, but I fail with 2 dice. Then I'm able to get -1 armor save, which was good, because then it drops the armor save of the Doomlord from 1 up to 2 up. So 2 up rerollable becomes 4 up rerollable against the challenge, which is a better option for me to kill him, and I reroll to wound thanks to the attribute, which is a good news. And then I'm able to cast a +1 armor save on the bull, and to put the attribute on the chosen, which gives reroll to wound for the bull. So good news for me for this combat. And shooting, I suffered a misfire. I'm far away from my engineer, so I'm not able to reroll anything, so I have to take it. And with a roll of 1, I cannot shoot anymore during the whole game, but I get 3d3 grinding, strength 4, volcanic embrace, which is not bad, because I will be in combat next turn, so luckily for me. Let's move on to combat. Here I'm able to do nothing to him. He did like 2 in return, but I'm steadfast. Of course, my Citadel Spear were blocked because the orcs were still in combat. So this turn I decided to move a bit around to be able to see the flank of the Doomstar and maybe countercharge if needed. With the bull, I was able to make him flee. I did a couple of wounds, he did 1 to me, and I was able to overrun with a 9 Swift Stride into the Battle Shrine, which is good news. But with the bull and the Kadim Titan, I was only able to do 2 wounds to the Battle Shrine, to my surprise. So he was able to stick. And here, he was able to do 2 wounds to me, I guess. So I have only 1 wound remaining, and I was not able to finish him. I was able to save 1 time with the 4-up rerollable, and the Immortal did some casualties to him, but he's still able to stick on 9 rerollable. He's turn 4. He charged the tank on the right. He moves forward with the hounds. Basically, the idea is to deny me the flank charge. Of course, I will probably kill him this turn and pivot and charge around. But basically, it will be difficult for me to charge into the Doomstar. I should first charge into the donks, make him flee, and then redirect, pass my 8 with no reroll, and charge into the flank, which is not so easy to do. Then he turned around the Barbarian to prepare for the combat and move the Mage out of the unit. And I guess that's it. Yeah, on my turn 3 I was able to rally my 2 Torque, which is good news. And here you see that's another gate that he opened on the back of my lines. Okay, let's move on to Magic. I tried to cast -1 toughness to my tank, I dispelled, but then he was able to cast +1 armor save onto the Doomstar, and with the attribute to have reroll to wound against the tank, so I guess I should have dispelled rather the +1 armor save onto the Doomstar, which was bad for me. And in combat, he was able to do 4 wounds to the tank, thanks to reroll to wound from the guy, and he was still hitting me on 2+, and then wounding on 4+ rerollable. No armor save for me, so he was almost able to kill me. If I remember before, the idea that he could reroll to wound, I would have dispelled the +1 armor save, I guess, because this is really bad for me. In combat, I'm still not able to finish him, he's still not able to kill me, so we're still both alive with 1 wound, and I'm still able to do some casualties. And here we are able to kill the Battle Shrine and turn around with both the Bull and the Kadim Titan. My turn 4. Lots of charges. I will zoom in a few seconds, but basically I moved the Mage out of the unit and charge with almost everybody. So I took the 6 on 2 dice with the Citadel unit and was able to connect, and I took the Bull as well. I really wanted to ensure that I was able to get into this combat with one or the other, but I mean, this was it was not so a good idea to charge with the bull, I guess, because even if I fail with the spear guy, is that so bad? I mean, the immortal are fine against the Doomstar. So I'm not sure. I guess it was a good idea to have a flank charge, and I didn't want to take the risk to fail this charge, and plus it was giving me the opportunity to come around the center and score on maybe on this turn. So yeah, that was a bit the idea. So I was able to connect with the bull, both the bull on the 6 Swift Ride and the Citadel on the 6. Automatic charge from the Bow Stork into the remaining chosen champion. And then my Kadim Titan turned around and charged into the Barbarian. Here we're still in combat, but I was able to move my Orcs forward to chaff him on next turn, basically with the inch on both sides. He cannot reform any other way. So I will be able to chaff the entire unit, but the character can come out, but he can charge a character in a duel, or he can charge here in the corner against the Immortal, but he can never wound me better than 4+, so what can he do against me? Not a lot, so I would be happy with this combat, I guess. And yeah, here I hope really that my Taurik can kill him, because I would deny a scoring unit, and then get 1, 2, 3 and score one turn, and then seeing how the things look like, I'm feeling pretty confident about the fact that I could win the scenario if I'm able to kill him this turn. Let's move on to Magic. Try to cast -1 armor save, but failed against... I cast it with 4 dice, but I wasn't able to get it. And I put +2 armor save on the Immortal. And then I put again -1 weapon skill to ensure that he cannot fight against my Immortal in the front. So that was a good news. In combat, he was able to kill the tank. I was able to do a lot of damage. These guys were not engaged anymore, but weren't able to overrun due to the other units around. I was able to do a couple of casualties. Here I was able to kill him, deny him steadfast. And basically, first I thought, yeah, it's a 9 overrun into the flank. Could be really good to have as well the Kadim Titan in this combat to time up. Because I made this combat before, of course he killed me, then he stayed into this position. That would have been a good charge, because the Lord cannot attack against me, I can do a lot of casualties. Then next turn, I fancy my chances with Kadim Titan against the Overlord. It's not a bad combat at all. But then we saw that it was a 10 and not a 9, so that was a bit too far for me. So I decided not to go, but I failed my discipline check, 8 rerollable, so I had to pursue. And I made only a 6, so basically he can move out of arc with the gateway, and my Kadim Titan cannot do anything anymore. That's why I tried to reform with him, but was not possible. But at least I got the Barbarian unit, which is good news for me. He was able to kill the tank. He was able to do, I guess, nothing to my Overlord. And he was able to do a couple of wounds, but he still has 2 wounds remaining on the 4th one, and still 1 wound remaining on the Doom Lord. So yeah. And here south, bad news for me. I was able to do 1 wound with the impact, but then with his attacks, 4 attacks on the 3+, and on the 3+, he was able to kill. Then I have a 5-up armor save. He was able to kill both my Toruk, which was really bad for me, because I was able to stick on the steadfast with the Orc, of course, but he still has 2 scoring units, 1 wound here, 2 wounds here. And I have only 2 scoring units, meaning we draw on the scenario on this turn, so I will not be able to win the scenario. Let's move on to his turn 5. Basically, he decided to... I didn't see that coming. He moved around to include the mage in this unit, and then choose to go into the portal and come on this part of the board, which was smart from him, I guess. And then move a bit forward with the dogs to block a bit what I can do with these guys. I'm a bit stuck. And here we're still in combat. Magic, he tried to put Quicksilver Lash on my general. Basically, what I didn't see coming is my general is here on south by himself. And with this movement of the mage in the unit, and then moved into this part of the board, he's able to go at me with three damage spells, so we'll see if I survive. He did a Quicksilver Lash. I was able to do 1 ward save on my general. I have 4-up armor save and then a 5-up ward save against fire. I was able to save it. Then he did the hereditary spell against my general. I dispelled it, and then with Silver Spike, he has 1 chance to kill me, 1/3 to kill me. He wounded me with reroll 2 wound, and then I did only 1 wound. So luckily for me, I'm still alive. Combat, he was able to finish my Overlord and kill him, and I was able to finish the fourth one, but he was able to stick in the combat. My bull is still in combat. And here I was able, good news, I was able to finish the last wound of the Chosen. That was good. He had 1 wound remaining. I was able to kill him with the 6 attack of the Orc Slave, and therefore to turn around to march this direction next turn. So I was happy about that. My turn 5. It's a bit blurry, sorry. So I moved forward with the Orc to chaff the General's unit. Moved the Mage back in his bunker. I move forward with these guys to threat maybe the Maw. If he comes around, I'm able to charge him. And if he goes this direction, I'm able to charge him with the Kadim Titan. That was a bit the idea. But there are still some space where I can go. I cannot move very good with the Citadel Guard due to the other unit around. That was a bit annoying for me. In Magic, I tried to put +1 armor save, but this was dispelled. And then I was able to cast +1 ward save on the Bull. I refused the challenge. He put Shaken on my bull to try to finish the 2 wounds, but he wasn't able to do it. He did nothing to me. I had, I guess, 1 ward save to do, and a couple of armor save on 5 up, and I was able to save, I guess, 2 armor save. Maybe he did 2 wounds to me, not sure. And then with the Immortal, I was able to finish the last wound, finally. So took some time, but I was able to kill him. And then turn 6, nothing left. He just moved... yeah, I guess, yeah, he moved into the token. Yeah, exactly, moved to the token and then move into this position to be within 12 of the Helmo to pass the leadership check. He passed and was able to move out of arc. And then on my turn, I had nothing left to do. So that was it. Yeah. Very interesting game, very complicated, a lot of combat situation, lots of choice to make. That was really interesting for me. I took from him both unit of Chosen, the Doomlord, the Force One, the Barbarians, and the Battle Shrine. And he was able to take from me the Overlord, the 5 Toruk, the tank, and half of a slave unit. So yeah, it makes a 12-8 because I took the last 2 turns of the scenario and he was able to take the turn 2 and 3. And turn 4, yeah, that was really close for me to be able to win the scenario, but it ended up in a 12-8. First of all, I was really not happy about my spell and weapon selection. Spell selection, I should have taken the hereditary spell with the. It's a to remind you how it works. It's like the Wrath of God, but it makes you Dangerous Terrain 1. And it would have been really awesome against these large bricks in the static position around the center because of the objective. Hereditary spell would have been awesome. I don't know why I didn't take it. And of course Toxic Breath as well would have been really helpful. I could have been able to cast it to help my Overlord. So that cost me a lot of points, I guess, the spell selection. And second, the choose of the weapon was really bad because I have a lack of AP. I was too optimistic with the idea of the Onyx core. I should have taken Infernal Weapon and Shield Breaker basically to ensure that I can do some wounds against the Chosen and against the Doomstar as well. So that would have been much better. And this cost me at the end the Overlord, basically. So 2 bad decisions at the beginning of the game. I was not far from winning the objective, like I said. Bit unlucky that my slave were able to stick when I wanted them to flee. And then afterwards, so I was lucky, but I didn't want to be lucky. And then afterwards, I was unlucky where I wanted to be lucky. So that was a strange combat. You never know what can happen. And then, I don't know if it was a good idea or not to combo charge Doomstar. I could have gone in only with the Citadel, and maybe I could have had much more attacks and maybe kill the 2 remaining wounds of the Force One and therefore deny him the Steadfast and maybe not lose my Overlord, but that's a lot of ifs, you know. So I guess that was, I wanted to ensure that I would be able to kill the Doomstar, and I guess that was still the safest play to go in with both units in the flank to ensure that I have at least 1 unit in the flank to do some damage. So I guess I would do it the same again, but feel free to tell me if you think that was not the best idea. Okay, that was it. I have a lot of other things to test. I hope you like this couple of battle reports with the new Infernal Dwarf book, which is a good book, really interesting book. So I hope you like these battle reports. And yeah, see you soon in another battle report. Sorry. Bye bye.